Hello and welcome, Adam Thomas from Balancing Touch Reflexology. So good to see you and thanks for joining me today. Today we are going to finish off where we started in the last video on the skeletal system. So how to work all the points of the skeletal system. And this is part 2. So if you haven't seen part 1, you can go back and check that out and come back to this video and continue. So let's get into where we left off on the last video. I'll call it a bursitis trigger. So bursitis is basically rotator cuff sort of issue. This is a good technique. It can be a little bit painful, but I'll show it to you. So you make like a J with your finger. So I'm going to work on the right foot here. With my left finger, I'm going to make like a little hook like that. I'm going to slide up to right underneath the shoulder joint area, which is right there. I'm going to plant my thumb on the top, and then what I'm going to do is a little triggering action. Okay, so I'm bringing my index finger and my thumb together. And then what I'm going to do is work from the plantar surface a little bit, move more to the lateral surface, and then I'm going to move a little bit to the dorsal. You want to be careful with this because this bone is digging right underneath and up into the little bone here, right? So with little amount of effort, you can really get deep here. I'm also kind of pushing in towards the big toe, right? That's where the pressure is, and then I'm lifting up into it. So sort of a movement like this. So be very careful with this one because you can hurt their foot quite easily because of just the way you're digging in. So this is a really good one for anybody with sort of shoulder issues, rotator cuff problems. And I do like to give a nice little sort of dessert after this because it can be quite painful. Coming over to the other side. So now left foot, right, hook up into that area, and we'll just trigger. That whole area. Good. Okay, another one, of course, we did the top, but now we're going to work and do the whole spine. So there's a bunch of layers that are built around the spine. You have the spine, which is the vertebrae, and that's what we're going to work because we're focused on the skeletal system. But there's also the nerves, right, that come out from there, and then there's also the muscles that are found on the spine reflex. So this one, because we're working the vertebrae, we've already learnt the cervical spine, so we came down this way. Now what we're going to do is continue along, and we're going to be pushing up into the bone of the arch of the foot, but the bone that you can feel as you go around there. And then we're going to come around the ankle, and we're going to come up about this far. Okay? So if I just use my thumb as some eyes, and I'm pushing up into the bone. It goes along here, and then I'm going to come up and around the ankle bone, and just come up a little bit to about there. Okay, so about three to four fingers above the ankle bone. Right. So the actual end of the spine ends over here. This is just a good technique to work the whole system of you're including the ankle and also the bones, the vertebrae, this way, right? So you can come down here, come across, around, and up. Okay? If you can, come the other way as well. Pushing up into the bone as much as you can. Another technique is you can start from here and do kind of a dot-to-dot version of it, right? And you get that. So that's the concept there, is to work this whole bony structure of the arch and really get in there and see where there's tension and try and break that up and loosen it up. So what we have is the nose here. That's the cervical spine. Then if we come down to the outside of the foot here, our landmarks, right? That's where the bottom of the waist is, and that's where, bottom of our ribs. So right there, that's where we're going to find the thoracic spine. And then we're going to find where the hip is down. You're going to find the lumbar region, so right in here. And then you have the coccyx area, which is all down here. So this is really good to kind of overwork the area. Overwork meaning, rather than just doing this little line that goes along here or down to there, we're going to work this whole area so that it includes the muscles and the vertebrae. But the focus here, if we're just working the bones, is actually the vertebrae for the skeletal system is a little bit more focused and smaller area. But if anybody has spine issues, I would definitely overwork the area. Okay, so I'll just do this side really quick. And that would be the spine. So flipping over to the other side of the foot here, we have the hip area. Okay, so the hip is related to this whole joint area that turns. Okay, so doing a great dessert warm-up exercise where we're rotating the entire foot is a really great one. To help with rotating this, get a good grip on the heel and then get a good grip on the top. And if we slow this whole action down, as I'm pushing forward, I'm pulling on the heel. And then we kind of switch to be, I'm sort of pulling or stretching with the top hand now and pushing with the heel, right? So it's a nice counter sort of response. It's sort of like if you've seen those old hand drills, right? That one is kind of going like this. That's what you kind of want to do, is twist the top of the foot at the same time as you're counteracting the bottom, right? And then that way you're getting really good movement in the entire foot. So this one takes a little bit to get used to, but once you get it, it's a really great stretch. So when you push this way, you pull on the heel. When you pull down this way, you push on the heel, and then you can kind of counteract this way as well. So the actual reflex to the hip area is right in here. So working all around here is going to benefit the hip. So working all around the ankle is going to be a great benefit. But in here, there's a nice little triangle. This is more muscular, but it's working the hip area as well. And so we find that at the waistline here, and then if you come up right on the top where the bone starts to curve in, so you'll hold your fingers there, and then there's a natural occurring little triangle in here, and we can work this as the hip. And I like to put my working hand palm up, thumb there, and I work up this way. And this one's easy to go quite deep. So just pay attention to how their foot is responding, and that's what the top hand is doing. It's really feeling the reaction to my technique here. Okay, so that's hip there. So I'll just come over and do it on this side. And this side is less tense, actually. And then I'm gonna go and rotate that way. Ooh, there's some good cracking on this side. So interesting, there's more cracking and stuff, but it's not as sensitive as this side. So there's always those fun little compensation and issues with hip stuff, tightness and things like that. Okay, so that's the hip. So we can work on the hands on the feet as well. This is very similar, and it's in the same area as the shoulders. Okay, so where the hands and the feet and the knees and the elbows, that's what we're going to work next, are found are at the top, because in the fetal position you get your hand up by your shoulders, right? And your elbows sit at your waist area. And if I bring my legs up, my knees kind of go to my waist area and my feet are right down at the bottom here. So the way that I work this one is the hands are found up here. So you can do the same sort of focus that we did with the shoulder, right? But this time we're switching, our intention is to work on the hand. So somehow something shifts a little bit and we get a little bit of a different way of working. I'm going to use my finger this way and I'm going to push on down into the top of the foot, top of the pinky, okay? I like to, when I use this technique, I am basically making a fist, right? I extend my knuckles out a little bit, and then this one goes out like that. And so what this is doing is my thumb is also supporting, is also really holding. So I'm not like just going like this and then working. I'm actually supporting this finger by holding, you know, pressing my fingers and my thumb supporting this finger. So I'm going to push, and then I'm going to work in on the second joint here. And I'm going to push it right in about there. And I'm going to just push down like this. And you can see my thumb over here working also. So it's kind of squishing in towards and supporting my finger as I do that. So again, I'm going to work from sort of a bit more of the plantar surface, sort of on a 45-degree angle. And I'm just going to work it around this way. And so this is working the hand reflex. Okay, and I'll probably just work it out that way. I'll come over here, do the same thing. Okay. The foot is found right down here. So I'm going to flip my hand this way and I'm just going to work the edge. So where we work the hip here, right, we have that little triangle. What I'm working now is just a little bit lower and a little bit on the plantar surface. And I'm just going to walk lines. So I'm going to work it the same way by having my palm pointing up. Okay, so coming over to the elbows and the knees. So they're found just above the hip here, and I just work it like this. Okay, and so you can get lots of pressure and you can feel in there, and it can be quite sensitive, so just be a little bit careful there. So if I come over to this side, you can work in there and you can finish. So anybody who has knee problems and elbow problems, this is a really good area to work. So there you go. Those are sort of the main points to working the skeletal system. So thanks for hanging out and watching part 1 and now part 2 of the skeletal system. That was really great. I hope it was a lot of points, and hope you got something out of it. Let me know if you have any questions, and if there's extra points and stuff that you work that I missed, let me know. You can comment in the comment below, right? So thanks for watching, and remember to keep those feet happy. See you next time. Bye-bye. If you're interested in learning more about reflexology, you can subscribe to the channel below. It's also very helpful to hit that like button, and feel free to share it with anybody who you think might be interested in it. You can find my online courses, Reflexology Charts, and other reflexology goodies over on my website, which is balancingtouch.ca. Thank you so much for watching today, and if you have some more time, you can check out some other videos. Till next time, this is Adam Thomas from balancingtouch.ca. See you later.